you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show on the road, shall we? Let's get chat. Let's get me. Bam. Welcome to the party, ladies and gentlemen. I will be your host. I am back. And it feels good to be back. You know what, as usual, the stream is let's just forget what's going on. Let's talk about who I am. So my name is David West. We are live tonight on mixer.com/David West, my preferred streaming platform, twitch.tv/David West, youtube.com/David West, and facebook.com/David West. We are starting this thing off with a bang, my friends. This is going to be good. Now, why have I taken where have I been? What's been going on? Why have I disappeared? Lots of reasons, actually. And we're going to get into all of those things. But there's some important stuff that we're going to talk about throughout the evening. More importantly, I've started a Discord if you want to follow along, but I broke the bot. So I'm going to fix that right now. Invites. Okay, so I broke everything. So we're going to fix everything right now. Let's do this. That. How do I do this? I'm new to Discord. This is a new thing for me. So we're going to do... Let's do this guy. Instant invite. I'm going to copy this. And we're going to fix my bot, Tissimo. And we're going to get this thing going. So what's been going on with me? Lots of stuff's been going on. Nothing bad. All good things, to be fair. All really good things. But there's been some changes. I've made some changes. Mainly because I needed to make some changes. For myself, for the game, for everything. So if you haven't noticed the last little while, for those of you that are new, when I've done a stream, it's been kind of all over the place. I talk about making a game, but I play a lot of games. I'm actually out for dinner with some family tonight, and that actually came up, and it was a really good point. It was exactly what I was getting to, and I really started to feel like the stream wasn't doing what I needed to do. The point of this whole streaming thing was to make a video game, and I haven't been making that video game. I've been prototyping, I've been experimenting, I've been mucking around, and now it's time to take it to the next level and get serious. This is some serious music for a serious moment. So that being said, I want to get things going. So a couple things are going to change. Chat's not going to be enabled while I'm doing the presentation. That is not for video production purposes or anything. I will turn on chat off and on for question and answer. We'll come back to this view, what you're seeing right here. See my beautiful face. You're going to see that whenever I take questions and stuff like that. But yeah, we are going to keep doing these streams and things are going to happen, but it's going to be a little bit different. So let's get into the meat of it. Let's get into this thing. So let's get the PowerPoint going. As usual, got to do a PowerPoint. Everybody needs a good PowerPoint. Of course, PowerPoint's broken. It's fine. I changed some stuff last minute, which is a bad idea. Do this from the beginning. Perfect. Let's go over to the slides and just enable my slide deck. Okay, we're on our way. Almost there. Let's move it over just in the middle here. Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, it is August 5th, 2019, and we are talking about hashtag Vagabond game, or just Vagabond, as most of us like to call it. This is a project Re-Kickoff. So here's some backstory, right? Back in September, I started coding up a game with the dream of saying, I want to make a game. I want to get it done in the next year or so, have something out there for sale, and this is a passion project of mine, but I didn't want to burn all of my personal security, no sleep. I got 2 kids, I got a day job, I got a real life, I got security, I got things that I need to keep going. Now, there's got to be a healthy way to do game development, even if you can't eat passion. Okay, Rami Ismail has told me that on talks. I know that's true in real life. You know, you need to take time for yourself. And if that's the case, is it possible to do this without it being your full-time job? Can you still manage your real life without burning yourself out completely? I get there's going to be some hard times, but is it possible? And that's what this whole project was. And so I've been experimenting with this idea called Vagabond since September. Some of you have been along the way for a while. We've been playing around with it, seeing where things go. And I kind of hit a point where I got a prototype out there. I had a couple of prototypes come out over the course of March and April and May. And then started the new day job, and then I needed to figure out what I needed to do. And that's where Vagabond, this whole thing came about. So I took the rest of the month off, met with some friends, met with family, reevaluated my process, and realized the reality is the streams aren't as productive as I want them to be. So what we're doing is we're turning the streams into purely productive sessions for me, milestones. We are going to be doing game stuff, but only as my game develops. It is 100% Vagabond game content that you're going to be seeing on this stream moving forward, and game development related stuff, but it's all about my game. And so that's what we're going to be doing. So let's see what happens here. So tonight we're doing a project Re-Kickoff. So the original kickoff was back in September, in October when I started this thing. Now we're doing sprint zero planning and kicking this thing off again. We're going to get agile with this. We'll go over all of that and your role in that process. So what am I doing? I'm relaunching the project and taking it up a notch on the production side. So I'm focusing heavily on development. We are going to recode it from scratch, or I'm going to recode it from scratch, but take the ideas that we've developed over the last while and bring them into a fresh, clean project. The old prototyping project that we've been seeing for the last long while is very messy. It's very challenging. So I could spend a month cleaning it up, or I could just start fresh and start building it from zero and add the parts that I need. We are going to go agile with a little bit of Scrum. We're going to sprinkle a little bit of Scrum, a little bit of DevOps on it, and we're going to help make this thing a little bit more productive. And so what that means is our streams are going to turn into these milestones of sprint reviews, sprint retrospectives, and sprint planning sessions that are going to happen every 3 weeks, guaranteed. So that is the big plan. That's actually every 3 weeks to start. We'll see how that schedule goes in the next little while. So frequently asked questions for myself. Why am I even doing this? What's the point? Straight up, I'll tell you why. It's to keep myself accountable. I find that the streams were taking up a lot of my time just prepping. Still to fish, my man. I'm going to get to you in a second, but thank you for coming by. So but why am I doing this? Why am I kicking this whole thing off again? It's to keep myself accountable. It is to keep development moving forward, and it's to focus my time, thoughts, and effort on the game, not just on the streams. I love the streams. The streams are fun, but they're not as productive as I need them to be. So what is changing? The bad news is it means that we're doing a reduced stream schedule. So I'm going to be doing a review, retrospective, and plan every 3 weeks, guaranteed on all these platforms, Mixer being the number one as usual. There could be a possible random stream of gameplay or whatever, but it is going to be pretty much exclusively Vagabond game development content, and it's going to be sporadic. The only thing I'm going to guarantee is every third Monday, I'm going to come back and do one of these live sessions, Q&A, and stuff like that. And I will be posting on Monday a short video that will be broadcast via the platforms, but it might not be me live doing it, just a kind of a weekly scrum. The wiki and the project that you were used to seeing on Azure DevOps is going to go private for now, just because I want to kind of have that as my own little space. Moving forward with that, issue management is moving to GitHub, and the releases are going to be moving to davidwest.itch.io. So I know there's that whole Kokoboko Studios thing. That thing is still alive. That's my business company name. It's too much noise. It's distracting me. So we're all under the David West brand now. Same with the issue management thing. I'll share that link in a little bit here. So how do you keep following along? Well, you follow me on itch.io, right? That's the number one spot. You're still going to have the content there. You can see it on GitHub. Social media, I'm going to be talking about a lot. So I'm going to be talking about Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn are the three major ones. And I've started a Discord. So if you actually type in !Discord, there is kind of a conversation area there just for Vagabond and this live stream and me. So it's a way to, and I keep that on my phone. So if you want to keep me accountable, keep a hold of me, you know, has questions, stuff like that, you drop it all on there. It's public. It's an invite-only thing. But I'm trying to keep it as a community kind of driven thing. Like I said, the live streams are still going to be happening, just going to be a little bit less frequent and a little bit more sporadic, but there is the guaranteed one. Oh, there's the one that you see there. Try typing !Discord, or whatever, #Discord in chat. A new one should appear. That one is expired that you see there showing up. That's already present. And then hopefully this works. That didn't go well. That did not go well. Set this link to never expire. Let's try this. Here, look at this. Bam. I think I broke my bot minutes ago. So we're gonna fix that real quick. Edit. Save it. Great. So hopefully it's there now. Might not be there because bot system needs to refresh. Take some time to do that, but we'll circle back to it. Absolutely. So back to the slides. There's also my website, davidwest.com. I wouldn't use that as my primary focus. It's actually another distraction for me. It is a very simple website. I'm going to put links up there and random crap, but that's about it. It is really not anything special. It is going to be where I put the privacy policy and junk like that as things come up. So, if you're not familiar with Scrum, you have a role in this. There are streamers and stream watchers and VOD watchers and everything. Scrum is all about accountability, and I have reviews, retrospectives, and plans that I need you to participate in to make this work for all of us, so I can get this game out the door. Especially me. Make it work for me. So what is a sprint review? That is the guts of what we're going to be doing on these streams. More specifically, it's just a meeting to review the progress that's been made in the last sprint block of time. So my sprint length right now is going to be 3 weeks. We might shift that to 2 weeks or 4 weeks, depending, but probably stick with 3 weeks for a little while. Keeps the team, which is just me, accountable to the stakeholders. That's you. Provides frequent feedback, so there should be a playable release when I actually have releases again every 3 weeks. Something needs to be playable. And provide value to the players early and often. So I have a little process. I'll get into the details in the Q&A section at the end, but it's going to be good. This is what a sprint review is, though. There's 3 major roles, right? Product owner, developers, and stakeholders. So product owner reviews, that's me, reviews the progress that has been made from the team. The developers, which is also me, at least just me for now, share the good and the challenges, that the good things and the bad things that have happened over the course of the development sprint. So if I hit some challenges, it's not excuses, but rather what were my problems. And I'm going to be documenting all that stuff as I go here. Last but not least, the stakeholders. They discuss, review, and provide feedback continually, earlier, frequently, often. And that's where you come in, because I'm the product owner and the developer, and those are conflicting roles. That's why the stakeholders are so critical. So I'm really hoping you guys can participate, whether it's live in the stream, in the chat, or whether it's on the Discord, or whether it's just by doing bug reports and playing it and just sending me a note on Twitter. I could care less how you provide me the feedback, but if you put some skin in the game, I promise I'm going to respond as best I can and as quickly as I can with some feedback, and you should see it happen. So hopefully that's exciting to some people out there. So what about a retrospective? So once you're done the review, we do a small retrospective. This is where we talk and we identify improvements, and this is where I'm going to do 2 things. Talk about game development in general. How can we improve the game? What can we do for Vagabond to make it more fun, more better, whatever. We're also going to talk about the community. This is a community-driven effort. I need help from the community to make this thing interesting and fun, because I don't know like I say, I know what I'm doing, but I don't. I have a vision, but I want to make it for people that want to play it. So I need that community involvement, even if it's just passive, and people are busy, real lives are busy, I'm busy, everyone's busy. So any way we can make that asynchronous style community work, I'm all for it. That being said, these retrospectives will be short depending on the size of the development team, considering that, because it's just me. So these are going to be a small thing at the end of a sprint review. The first sprint review will happen at the next live stream. But that's the fun part. What is the sprint plan? So once we're done the retrospective, we do a plan. It is exactly what it sounds like. we're going to pick what we're working on the next sprint. We have 3 questions we have to answer. What can we get done? How will the chosen work get done, like prioritization wise? And what is the overall goal of the sprint? At the end of this blurb of stuff here that I'm going through, Scrum 101 and what is Vagabond Game, we are going to talk about that exact thing. We are going to do the Sprint Zero plan, and I'll explain what Sprint Zero actually means. A little extra FAQ, if you're a big Scrum nerd and you're really into that whole details, you're going to go, hey, what about the daily Scrum? What about that? I'm not going to be doing a daily stand-up. That's just, look, I got a day job. I got a real life too. I'm not working on this full time. That being said, every Monday I will do a weekly Scrum where I stand up, answer the questions. What have I accomplished so far this last week? What am I doing next week? And what roadblocks and impediments have I faced so far? This is allowing me to get the work done and focus on the work in my spare time, but it also lets me. I don't want this to turn into an echo chamber of me doing vlogs every day. I'm not trying to become a broadcaster. I'm trying to become a developer. And so, maybe the broadcaster will come later, but whatever. Let's worry about getting something out the door first. Okay, so I'm gonna take a quick minute, go ask some questions. There we go. Stilterfish, welcome back, man. I haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you, man. I've been seeing you, lurking you on Twitter. Been appreciating the likes and the retweets. It's been really appreciated. Does anyone out there have any questions about Scrum, their role changes, or have any questions for me why I'm doing this? Like, why am I torpedoing a good streaming, quote-unquote, development career, whatever you want to call it? Why or how? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Overall, things are going well. Kids be kids. They keep you busy. My day job is challenging in a good way. I love my job again, which is great. But I still got this dream to actually do some stuff, so I wanted to change it up and spice things up a little bit. So overall, is good. Is Scrum an acronym? I don't think so. It might be, but I've never actually known what it's called. I don't know why they call it a Scrum. They just do. It's a great question. That's the thing, Stilterfish. You always got the good questions. Scrum as an acronym? Let's find out. No, doesn't look like it. Scrum is not an acronym. There we go. Interesting. I don't know why it's called Scrum. I think the idea is supposed to be scrummage and like the idea of getting people together, and you do these team stand-ups and you get everyone together and you kind of go, break, and the whole thing. But I'm no agile expert, so. But yeah, overall things are good though, man. I'm hoping to keep in touch with the community a little bit more, not just through the live streams, because what I was seeing is I was seeing a few regular viewers, right, like coming by, but I realized in talking to people in my same situation, right, and what I mean that is more, I've heard the word, I always thought it was a big idea. Yeah, it's like the kid. Yeah, absolutely, man. So at the end of the day, like talking to seeing what like people in my demographic, right, like the idea of family man, day job, chasing a dream, that group, whether you're learning it for a hobby or whether you're learning it on the side for me or trying to make it into something, lots of stuff I've been getting that feedback that, not directly, not that I'm doing anything wrong, but I felt like it wasn't meeting my own expectations. The idea for Vagabond Game, the stream, the whole suite of it was supposed to be an asynchronous thing, something that people don't have to invest heavy amounts of time. No, none of this RPG grinding nonsense of 2-3 hour sessions or 5 hour sessions, stuff like that. And that comes to the stream, but also comes to the game. And so I needed to kind of reevaluate that. And the stream was starting to feel like a chore. It was starting to feel like I wasn't prepped for it. I was always kind of chasing my own tail, trying to get ready, and then met with my buddy, my marketing buddy Ryan. He's a good friend of mine, not just a marketing buddy. He happens to do marketing and some good. He does some good work with Create Your 8. But we're going back and forth, and he's kind of like my accountability buddy. And he challenged me to say, like, what's the live stream actually doing for you? Does it actually make sense? And honestly, it didn't really make a lot of sense in terms of how I was currently doing it. So I've pivoted a bit, and here we are. So we'll see how this goes. It's gonna be an experiment for at least a few months. So we'll see. I got work, I got real life stuff going on the next few months, so could be all for naught, but we'll see. All right. So I'm gonna keep going here. We're gonna get into what is Vagabond Game. We're gonna kick it off. I'm gonna kind of re-explain what we're gonna build, what I'm gonna build or try to do over the next little while. The vision I have for the game overall. This is kind of a accumulation of everything we've done since September, October of last year, and it's turned into this very concise vision in my head. And then we're gonna do the sprint planning session. So we'll do another Q&A session at the end, and then we're gonna call it. It's gonna be a short stream. So we're gonna, like I say, move a lot of my time and effort and energy into the social media sphere. So here we go. Back to the slides. So what is Vagabond Game, or Octothorpe Vagabond Game? If you're wondering why that's so cheesy and tacky, I got to market at the end of the game. Video games are marketing too, so if I can get that little chunk of stuff working for me, that's gonna work. So everything is Octothorpe Vagabond Game everywhere I'm doing it. So if you're on any of the social medias, look me up. So let's keep going here. What is Vagabond Game? Well, it's a narrative-driven survival game where having conversations with interesting people help you hitchhike your way across the country to find your purpose. Not bad, right? Not a bad pitch. There's two gameplay modes, conversational and survival mode. So you gather information, items, skills, equipment, secrets, all of that through conversations with people you meet along your way on your hitchhiking journey. And I didn't finish the slide properly, but you rest up for your next day and use the things you've gathered in your conversations to actually get things done and move them forward, and actually progress in finding a purpose and making it happen. So that's what we're going to try to build. So that's the kind of the general idea here. This is the gameplay loop we're going to build. Now, if you've watched the stream, which some of you have, if you haven't, if you're watching this on VOD or not, this is something we're doing now. This is kind of the overall gameplay loop. Let's see if I can draw on this. Oh, you can see my cursor. So we got this guy here. We start here, and you move directly into a conversation. This is the bulk of the gameplay. This is the vision I have now. Conversation isn't just a dialogue window. We're gonna flesh that out on time. In my head, it's something more than that. It's something that was familiar to what you've played in the previous games. And that whole gameplay stuff is coming together, but it is going to be the heart of the game. From there, in the conversation, you actually gather some stuff, right? Gather stuff, information, items, locations, secrets, equipment, whatever you can get, you gather that in conversation with people. And then when you end the conversation with them, you move into camp mode. So it's essentially a turn-based RPG, where every conversation is a turn. At the end of the turn, you have your camping or your survival mode, where you use that equipment, the skills, and that stuff to set up your camp, which then updates your level, decides where you're going. So there's lots of different options there. I've been doing a lot of research on what that means for vagabonding and hitchhiking and stuff. Because I don't look like a hitchhiker. I'm not making the word with the hitchhiker. But it updates your level, and you got to find your purpose in conversation. That keeps going, and eventually you're gonna camp, and it's gonna end. You're gonna succeed, and or not. This is the overall gameplay loop. This is the entire game summed up, and it's pretty straightforward, I think. So, in terms of the conversational mode, so conversational is the collection gameplay mode. You collect the following things: information, right? Topics of conversation. You find locations, ways to go on your journey, skills, survival. Oh, and by the way, if you've got any comments, throw them into the chat. I will answer them afterwards, and I will go over them in chat. So if you have questions, drop them into there, because I love questions, and I want to flesh this out. This actually ties into what we're going to be planning out for the next 3 weeks. So let's say information, topics of conversation, locations, ways, places to go on your journey, skills, right? Survival skills, conversation skills, transportation options. It kind of takes a bit of the RPG feel of that. I'm kind of familiar with tabletop games like Shadowrun, or there's also the idea of Mass Effect, using some of those skills in there along the way. Also gives you opportunities like transportation options, not just walking along roadside, but you can catch a train, stuff like that. There's some cool ideas I've been messing around in my head with where you can go, but you got to learn those things. Lastly, there's items, consumables that you have to use to survive and trade, but also equipment, things that you can use to make your journey safer or make things move forward. Now this is the thing I've been kind of toying with. This is where the gameplay starts to come into play. It's getting a little bit deep, but we're going to see what happens. The player is going to track their own info and location. So when it comes to this stuff up here, information locations, I'm not the player figure that out for themselves. I'm not going to give them a notebook that just lays it all out for them as they go. Like I said, there's no inventory system in game for these specific things. By no inventory system, I don't mean there isn't an inventory system at all, but just I'm not going to show you how to track any of this stuff. Skills unlock other choices in the game, and items are survival currency and equipment. So when you're camping, you have to kind of go through some of that. It's a good question, Stilter. I'm going to get to that in a sec. The second gameplay mode is survival mode, right? So when your conversation ends, it's going to be kind of a summary screen of what happens. It's the end of your turn, really. You use the items and the things you've gathered to kind of determine their status, and some of the survival things that are kind of coming up, distance traveled, so the further you travel, the better off you are, hypothetically. Things are rest, hygiene, and I've kind of put hunger and thirst in there, but not really. I'm more thinking of overall well-being, like your hunger, thirst, health, kind of, your health would be but not HP, but rather how you're feeling. It's more status ailments. But rest and hygiene are the two real things that I'm actually thinking about in terms of survival attributes, and then health as an overall status attribute thing. If you're in the desert and you're getting heat stroke, you need some water, but not like the idea that you have to eat and hunt and that kind of stuff. It's more a matter of, can you make yourself as presentable as you need to get through the game, right? To find your path. So that's kind of the idea. And it includes a turn summary when you're complete, so it might give you a little bit of breadcrumbs there. But again, we'll get into that another time. Now, how do you end the game? How do you beat this game? What's success look like? Well, the player discovers and completes a purpose. A purpose could be a lot of different things. We've talked about them in the past. Musician, there's hero, there's all kinds of different ones that I've talked about online. That could be astronaut, it could be, we've got dark serial killer. Trying not to keep it dark, but there's all kinds of stuff you can put in there. But there is no death in the game. But all purposes, if you missed all the purposes, that's the end of the game as well. Because a purpose can be missed. Okay? This is a fail forward. You cannot go back and redo your game. You can't you can't save scum. You can't do that kind of thing. The idea is you are continually moving forward. When you end a turn, that turn is over. And if you miss a purpose, that's missed for that game, for that playthrough. But the fun part is, it is always a fail forward kind of idea. So, state changes and provide a new player for the path. So the idea of fail forward, if you're familiar with that concept in game design, and you see it a lot in D&D or Pathfinder and stuff like that. Rather than extra credits, just did a really good video on it recently. If you do you do a roll, you miss, right? You're trying to pick a lock, didn't work out. Rather than you just dying instantly and ending the game, it kind of goes, okay, you failed to check. So no, you didn't unlock the gate, but you did manage to pick up something different, or no, and not only did the guard see you, but his other guard buddy saw you doing it. So you've got this new problem. So it's always going to fail you forward into a new situation as much as possible, but you could miss some of those purposes permanently in your game. Not necessarily permadeath, but kind of a permanent story ender. Okay, so I'm going to take a moment, answer some questions here. There we go. This seems like a complete reimagining of the game. What kind of survival elements are you considering? Okay, so to go back to that, that's a good question, Stilter. I can see where you're coming from. This is one of the reasons why the streams are pulling back, and I'm focusing more on social media when I can, and I want to focus on the game. This is the game I've had in my head for the last few months. And now I need to spend the time kind of getting it out the door. So in terms of survival elements, it's really not survival in the sense of like Minecraft or one of these survival games that are out there. Rather, you need to be able to camp and survive the night and get yourself better for the next day. So it's one of these kind of, think about more of almost like a combination of survival and resource management. So like I say, rest, hygiene, and quote-unquote health or health status ailments. There's no death, there's no hit points, but like I say, if you eat some bad food, you're going to be, might be sick. So that's going to make you less presentable it's going to have an impact on your conversation. The idea of health is that it's impacting your conversation, and same with the other survival elements, rest and hygiene. If you don't keep those up, that's going to have an impact on these conversations in the game. And that's the core gameplay, right? So that's one of the pieces. The other question you had was a single morale metric with hunger and thirst factors feeding that. Possibly. So I've been playing around with the idea of morale. I'm not sure what I want to do with that yet. I think my morale meter is more going to be related around your purposes. So a purpose is an end goal, and there's going to be a series of steps you're going to have to get to that end goal. If I don't know, like I might be dating myself here a little bit. Back in the day, the old Star Wars MMO, Star Wars Galaxies, like the initial release of that game, way back in the day, if you wanted to become a Jedi, there was a lot of like unwritten rules you had to kind of go, hoops you had to jump through to become a Jedi. It was really hard to do. But I like the idea that there are these steps you gotta follow to get to the end of that path. Or you could think of it in an Elder Scrolls game, joining one of the guilds. Or there's all these little side missions and things like that. But I want these little... Essentially, it's a little checklist of things, but you gotta figure out what that checklist is, and your presentation and your use of your hygiene and your survival attributes is going to either open or close some of those doors. So going back to the morale meter, if you spend a lot of time being unclean, you're not going to be a very good musician, because people are not going to want to really jam with you if you stink. Like that kind of thing. So it's going to have an impact on that. So the better musician you become, the more musically inclined your stuff's going to become. So the world might change around that. We'll play with that as we develop the game. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm envisioning that right now. Okay, so let's go back to the slides for last couple slides. We got two more here. Okay. Sprint zero planning. Okay, so just to be... go back. Sprint zero planning. So I'm not being sprint zero because I'm being clever and being like, oh, I'm a developer. Every array starts with 0. No, I'm not doing that. Sprint zero is the sprint before the first sprint. I really want to take I've been taking my time to really focus myself. And spending the time trying to figure out what I need to do. So Sprint Zero is my first official sprint. It's my pre-sprint sprint. Let's call it that. I've spent the last few weeks cleaning up my mess and kind of figuring out what I need to do. Now it's about getting myself ready to do development, and by the end of this sprint, I will be ready to hopefully move forward. But you guys will help me decide that. So, Sprint Zero planning. What work do I want to get done in the next 3 weeks? I want to do a game design document, a one-pager. So I have a good book on that by Scott Rogers about game design. I'm going to go over it one more time. I have most of this down, but I want a one-pager that people understand what this game is by just reading it. And I'm going to distribute that. That's going to be a publicly available thing. And I want to share it with people so they can see it and go, I understand what this thing is. And I know where it's going. And it's going to be kind of driving all that stuff. Storyboards for dialogue. So I want to create storyboards. I'm not prototyping in the code sense, but I'm literally storyboarding with PowerPoint, and I want to kind of flesh out what this actually means and how that gameplay works. So I really want the dialogue or the conversational mode to really make sense before I start writing code out, and I want to recap those next time. Also storyboards for survival mode. So again, these 2 core gameplay modes, I really want to flesh out what the foundational thing is. So I'm going to explore it without actually writing any code, so really hammer home that design. And last but not least, I want to outline the path for the first quote-unquote purpose, which is the musician path. So we're going to go with that. The goal for Sprint 0 is really just documentation of the vision. Document the vision. That's it. I want this vision to be very clear about what I'm trying to build, and I want it to be clear to me and to the people wanting to play and wanting to participate. And it will get more detailed. It'll be pretty light at the beginning, but it's going to be a start. So, how can you help? You can help by keeping me accountable. So there's all kinds of social media. I put youtube.com/DavidWest. If you follow me on Mixer, Mixer is my #1, like no matter what. So I am going to schedule actually the videos to be released at, again, 9:30 on Monday nights, those daily scrums, to come out, and I'm going to try to participate in chat while they're out there. I'm not going to be live, but I am going to share them. But you can also go to the Discord to get a chat invite. If you want, I'll actually just send it to you, because I think I broke the Bautissimo tonight. But yeah, join the Discord, drop me a line. I will send you an invite to get into that Discord, and then keep me accountable. I'll be posting updates on there as things come up. I'm going to put some bots in there. It's going to be my little hub to share development progress and keep myself moving forward. You can follow the development progress over at this project, github.com/davidwest/vagabondgame. The other site is now private. That might open up again later on. I haven't decided, but this is where I'm going to be sharing my overall project flow. What I'm currently working on, the progress is being made. And people that want to participate can, but it's more about me having a spot where people can see what I'm doing. It's more of a shared space for that. And last but not least, you can always follow me on social media and ask questions. Instagram and Twitter are my 2 primaries. There's also LinkedIn. If you want to find me on LinkedIn, it's linkedin.com/DavidWest, I think. I think it is. Let's find out. David West, LinkedIn. Wrong. It is some weird thing with CA as a subdomain. Not sure why. But let's actually go back to that real quick. We're going to add that because I'm classy. Okay. And not sure why, but you can Google me anyway in LinkedIn and just add me. Ideally, please mention that you're interested in Vagabond games, so I know that you're not a cloud architect person. So that'll help me out if you want to go there. I'm actually posting on there a lot about my stuff too. So I've been moving into LinkedIn and doing some work. I'm really trying to get into that game development mindset and sharing that and trying to find out how that works. So we'll see what happens here. Last but not least, thanks. Thank you so much. Let's go back to questions here. Questions. I think, what do we got here? WAG budgeting. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that acronym is. Let's Google that. Winnipeg Art Gallery. Does that help? And I got acronym finder. That's a weird one. Oh, wild ass guess budgeting. Yes, there we go. WAG. Yes. So the idea is, right now it is wild ass guess. I am tracking my work. I am estimating and doing it that. I am going to start tracking it as I go, Stilter. But I am doing that behind the scenes a little bit more, and I'm going to expose that data every sprint review. So I'm going to share my burn down, how I succeeded, how I failed, and stuff like that. I'm going to see if I can do a bit of that in GitHub. I'm not sure how much they expose, but we're going to see how that goes, because I am considering there's an option if the community does. If I develop more of a community around this game development stuff that's really focused on game development, I've considered taking. I've got the know-how and the ability and the tech to wrap up anyone who's a follower in Mixer. Because Mixer again is my platform of choice, to take the Mixer people and put them into a sort of a stakeholders group, so they get a little bit of private access to some stuff, so they can see my dashboards, participate in a little bit more of a deeper way. So that's kind of the thing I'm looking for. There's actually some math behind the budgeting, so if you want to know. Yeah, there is. I've looked at that. I'm of the fan of. I'm a developer, right? But I'm a fan of the old idea of like, oh, there's no estimates. No estimates. We get out of that business. We don't do that. But I also come from a world of shared resources where you cannot spend your time doing that. So the way I've looked at this is, if we look at the slides a little bit, I'm not going to bring them up on the thing here. But you know what? Here, let's do that. Let's add window capture, slides. Oh, add existing. Perfect. Make it small though. I wish I could get away with when it's ready. You know, and that's the idea. I've been to enough talks at development sessions where they say it's about training your users to do that and your clients to appreciate that idea. And I just don't think I understand the idea. It's the dream. I'm not doubting that. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. It seems challenging, to say the least. Anyway, this is the work I have. So the stuff like here, the game design document 1-pager, the storyboards for dialogue, all this stuff. The storyboards for dialogue I started on my last stream. I actually did my last stream and did that. And so there's some more details that are missing. More gameplay elements that need to be storyboarded out and kind of understand that idea that I've been reading a lot of research papers on dialogue systems, doing a lot of diving into this. So there's a lot of work there, but I want to really see if I can capture my vision inside of a prototype, a PowerPoint prototype though. So I think I can get that done in about a week. The game design 1-pager, the first one, is going to take me a couple of days tops. And that's with my existing time, which is like, maybe between 1 and 3 hours nightly. That's on average 1.5 hours a night, because that's all the time I got. Storyboards for survival, that's going to be the easiest of the storyboards, but I think I really got to spend the time on that. And then outline the first purpose. That one's a couple of days. I've been thinking about that for months, so I think I have that kind of fleshed out and how this is going to work. So PowerPoint for branching dialogue. Well, PowerPoint's just my prototyping tool of choice. But for branching dialogue, I'm going to show just the flowchart of what's not necessarily of the script itself, but rather the conversations that need to get you to the end of the game. So how much content I'd have to actually write. Because I have a few of them that I already know who you're meeting and how it ends and stuff, but it's more a matter of making the full story arc, right? The three-act story for each purpose, because each purpose is a playthrough. And like I said, there's also a couple other things that I want to flesh out in the game, in the GDD, which is stuff like, this is, again, a game for people that don't have time to play games. I'm not going to make a mobile game, like I keep on coming back to that. Maybe I should make it mobile, but I'm not going to do that. I am going to do it as a Xbox PC game that people can play. I've actually considered browser-based as well. I have the tech for that and the skills for that. But there's some dreams in there with myself, right? So I do want a console-based game that you play with an actual controller, and I want it available on PC as well, because that makes the most sense. As for a touch-based interface, I'm not interested in doing a touch-based game experience, at least not right now. Maybe eventually, but we'll see. There's some stuff I want to kind of flesh out there. So, yeah, that's the gist of it, man. That's the guts and all of it. And this has only been a 45-minute stream. This is a short-ass stream, but what are you gonna do? These things will get longer in time, right? I do want to hammer home that Mixer is my platform of choice. There's a real reason for that in my head. But yeah, I really do want to actually see this thing go forward on Mixer, and then every week or every end of sprint, we are going to be going over the content. Like, I will have a PowerPoint, a presentation to give. And I will be sharing it, breaking it up into segments about what we're doing, what's going on, and ideally ending it with some gameplay, or at least opening it up with some gameplay at the end of the sprint review, right? To put it in, and if I can get there, put it in in someone's hands in chat. I've been talking about that for so long. That's on my priority list because I want that feedback. Just to be clear, I do this sprint review meeting twice now. I have some IR real life people that I actually am doing this with the night before. I do the presentation, the whole 9 yards, and it's a real life person. It's my better half, to be fair. She is probably the harshest critic I know about video games. She's probably the most difficult person to please. She's not even the real total audience for this game, but she is going to be able to give me some true, honest feedback and it's going to help me develop my hook. She's the right person for the criticism I need in real life. And I also know that I got my chat and my internet people. Internet people don't seem to filter all that much, so we'll see. We'll see where this goes. This could go well. It could go nowhere. But what I can say is that Monday at 9:30 p.m. Central Time, there will be some content coming up on Mixer. I'm going to schedule a video on all these platforms that are going to come out, and they'll be available on VOD and stuff like that later. But the idea is that we're going to have less live streams. There will be new content, video content, and there will be, of course, Instagram and Twitter. But yeah, that's the end of the stream for tonight. If you got any questions, comments, feedback, I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Actually, Stoltz, if you're there, man, if you're still there, I'd love to know what you think about this idea. I've bounced it off a few people that know me, and it makes sense to them, and it seems to make sense to me. But I'm curious, as someone who watches the stream, doesn't know me in real life, I'm curious on what your thoughts are. In the meantime, let's see what's going on here with the Discord. I am, and I'm really excited. That's awesome, man. See, oh, and look at that. You joined me over on Discord. That's fantastic, dude. I'm glad to hear that. That actually makes me really happy. You're one of the key people that you've helped me get through a lot of this stuff. Thinking about finding people, like-minded people that are interested in game development, are interested in games, but have real lives, you know? It's not that I don't want to play, it's not that I don't want to make a game, it's not that I don't have dreams, but this is kind of the thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can all build together and help drive this. And yeah, I think this is good. I'm glad to hear that. And like I said, I hope it should be less of a commitment, a more asynchronous communication. I think like I said, an asynchronous communication where things can move forward without people feeling like they missed something. 'Cause I was feeling like I was missing stuff. See your game being developed. Okay, awesome. See the organizational process and support networks you're putting into action. Thank you. That's good. Okay, good. That's actually a good idea. One thing I've been doing, I am gonna be engaging more, I guess casually on what's it called? On Twitter. That's the one. But Instagram and LinkedIn, I've been doing these kind of long form blog posts and stuff like that. So I'm doing a little bit more of that stuff. So seeing how you crack marketing exposure. Me too. I'm very interested in that too. Like I said, I've been really setting my expectations low. Not so low that they're horrible, like they're bad expectations. But I've been trying to really think about how I can hammer home the idea of community and development and get this stuff going. And I'll be honest, like one of the big pieces is the Mixer community. I have loved this Mixer community. It's been exceptionally encouraging to get people on here. I'm more disappointed that I can't keep up with the fun casual streams yet, but I'm hoping as the game there's something to play, I'll be able to play the game more on stream, do some, for example, when I'm doing playtesting, that is going to happen live on Mixer. I'm hoping to increase the stream schedule over time. The catch for the stream, though, is that and this is what I was realizing, a stream is you're engaged in conversation. You are focused on. You're not 100% focused on the game. You're not 100% focused on your task. You are focused on engaging your community, and that's got to be your number one. You've got to be moderately entertaining. Otherwise, you might as well just stream cap yourself and put it up as a video. But you talk through the process. You share your content. You share your thoughts. And so I'm hoping to do gameplay testing and the occasional random thing like that. But it's got to be productive, and there's got to be a reason for it. So, but yeah, marketing exposure is going to be the tricky one. I hear you that. I'm focused pretty heavily on it, but I tend to focus too much on it. Gotta build a thing. Before I start selling tickets, I need to build a thing that people can watch. So we're gonna get there. Fun fact: I'm doing a couple development conferences in the prairies here, in Saskatchewan and in Winnipeg, and I'm doing a Dream Chasing 101 talk. I will be broadcasting that live from those events on Mixer and on all these platforms. It's going to be broadcast live, so it'll be good. The company of one, I'm convinced that Mixer is the less. I picked up an audiobook, Company of One, and I'm convinced that Mixer is less the product service and much more the marketing and networking. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I kept on coming back to the thing that you when you read a lot about streaming, live streaming, it's all about, like, so Ninja came over to Mixer, which is awesome. I think that's an awesome move by Microsoft. I'm all for Microsoft's plays these days. I'm a big Microsoft fanboy, don't get me wrong, but I'm digging the business plays, and they're really setting up a really lovely platform for 2020, 2021. I'm really thinking it's going to be a good spot for Vagabond. The catch is, of course, I got to put some time and energy into making it a game that people want to, that people are going to notice. So once I have something people want to notice, that's going to be the second thing. Because right now, the charm, or the good thing I have right now, is people like to see me. They like to see me live, and they like to see me on Twitter, and like people tend to listen to me when I'm doing my speaking engagements and stuff like that. So I have that side of it, and I have that from my previous life, right, or my day job. That being said, I don't have a product to sell them. I've always had services or nothing, or a hobby. So that doesn't really help me. That's why I need something that has a hook and something that people can play. So when they come find me, they come find Vagabond, they start playing and reporting back, and they start getting engaged in the community. And I'd love to see how that goes. So yeah, I think it's gonna be good. But Company of One, I'm actually getting back into the audiobooks. I just got a Kobo, which is the Canadian equivalent of a, I mean, there's the States has them too, but it's basically what is it called? A Kindle, except it works with our Canadian library system. Fun fact, Amazon Kindles could work with the with the Canadian library system. Amazon just chooses to keep that turned off, even though it's the exact same protocol and system. There's a fun fact for Amazon for you. It's Company of One. Awesome. I'm gonna look that up. Get on my list for the library for that one, because yeah, I'm all about the audiobooks for my commute. You know, it's getting on 10:30 here where I'm at, and I think I'm gonna call it here. So thanks for joining me, Stilterfish. It's always good to hear from you, my friend. It's great. Let's actually just get rid of this guy. Boop. Yeah, doesn't want you getting fracks when they can sell it. Absolutely. Good old Amazon. I mean, as much as I want to say they're the worst company ever, they're not the worst company ever. They have some questionable business practices, but they also provide good deals, and it's kind of hard to... It helps sustain my lifestyle, sadly, so... I don't know what to make of that. It's all kinds of conflicts, but pick your battles. But yeah, in that case, I'm gonna call it for the night here, man. So thanks for coming by. Please, like I say, follow me, Twitter, Instagram, Discord especially. Please join me on the Discord. You know, send me, if you can't get one from Bautissimo, shoot me a line. I'll send you the link. I'm all about the Discord. And like I say, there's all kinds of stuff. There's actually, if you go to the live tab, you can see the chat up until tonight was actually live there. I'm going to turn the Discord echoing chat back on for the next stream. We're going to make this thing work out. I think we're going to build something out of this. But if you want to see the general tab here for Vagabond game, that is where I'm going to have the bots posting when I have a new build or any new releases are going to start showing up there. Same with the announcement. So it's going to be good. But in the meantime, my friends, it's been a pleasure. And you'll see a video and some content next Monday. Remember, every Monday, 9:30 Central Time, there's something coming up here. And until next time, have yourself do me a favor. Please have yourself a great evening and or day. That came out weird. Take care of yourself.